All right, back live here. Sorry for the technical difficulties, and we are under caution, and this one's going to involve the number 9 car in 13th position as he spun out here, coming off of that corner there, and just gets loose on Bobby Terrell, and he smacks the inside wall. Not going to be able to recover. Pretty much his night is done.
And it's going to tribute back to the 31 of Eric Arnold, who he was racing with going into the corner. 9 went low to make the pass.
Right,
31 was outside. 9 had to kind of push a little bit lower into the corner. Got the left side tires on those white hash marks. Contact with the 31 in the corner, and 9 just ended up being on a lower groove out of on the racetrack than he would have preferred. And as he caught that, those white hash marks with the banking really levels out a lot of the corner, got sideways and pancaked that car into the inside wall. And that's what caused that damage. Leaders, however, bumper to bumper down here in the apron in turns 3 and 4, coming down pit road for the first pit stops of the evening. 94 Brundy's going to lead them down.
As Brundy's leads them down as well as leading the whole race up until, well, still leading the race up until this point. But Jonathan Goodell, I want to mind you folks, that was just taken out, that brought out the not this last caution, but the caution before. So your points leader, Jonathan Goodell, oh buddy, going to be a big change coming up next week. He's all the way back in 28th as it stands right now, as leaders come down pit road.
94 Brundy's enters his stall after starting this race first, has led all the laps so far after 2 quick cautions in the opening handful of laps. One machine is going to beat about a pit road, wait for the 94 of Brundy's to complete his stop. 4 tires, he will be the first driver off of pit road with 4 tires. Only driver to exit pit road before him, Brendan Mercer in the 29 machine, came all the way down pit road, missed his stall as he never made any pit stop there, went all the way down and out. So expect that 29 to come back down to the pit lane this next time around. And then he would obviously give up that lead, and Eric Brundy's would reassume the number 1 spot, the 94 Ford.
And the top 4 drivers, Eric Brundy's, as you just mentioned, Dwayne Vincent, who subbed in for John Abbott tonight, Thomas J. George, and Steve Gottschalk. They have all stayed in their respective starting order, so the top 4 positions have not changed at all. Eric Brundy's has led every single lap, 17 laps now completed on the board out of 118 here at Darlington Raceway. The Darlington 160, race number 6 with the Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series, sponsored by Gary Mercer Trucking and presented to you by MW Productions. We're going to take this opportunity to use our first commercial break. I know we had a little bit of delay and some technical difficulties. We're going to make sure that we've got them squared away, and we'll see you in just a few seconds. And then you can start, and then you go sing that song. You can tell every. Green flag. Eric Brundage takes us back to the green. Single file, the top three. We got a big battle for the 91 in the 20 car. Rhett McBride getting the 91 of Gottschalk up into the wall. We've got a position change now. Finally, the 4th car falls back to 7th.
A lot of shuffling off of this restart, bumper to bumper, positions 8th on pack here, down to back straightaway, side by side. John Langley tried to get something going on Kevin Linden, can't do so. Now 22 of John Milwayne down to the apron. That's the 22 in 3 and 4. Down below those white hash marks, he's going to have to come back up, hangs on to it, but he's going to get the doors blown off. 29 gets by, makes a little bit of a move, cuts off the 25 machine of Kyle Taraska to get back up in line. Those guys going to single file up for now. Over the 25, taking a look to the inside, not going to get it done this time. And turn 2, big wiggle now. Kyle Taraska nearly lost it off the corner, able to hang on for now and get back in line, but he's going to drop way back after already sitting 1 lap down.
Oh, Kyle might lose it. Oh, hung on to it though. Kyle back in 25th spot now. The 8 car, Michael Gray, getting by. I tell you what, Kyle a lap down currently right now. Aaron Grosskopf being subbed in for him tonight. He's got his work cut out for him as we see another car, the 78, Brandon Peterson, nearly lose it.
Joey Cicina now sideways in 3 and 4, down to the apron. These guys all over the track, can't keep the nose pointed straight as that rear end keeps stepping out on all of these guys. Throughout the whole race, side by side in turns 1 and 2. One car in the wall, Nathan Bowers. And the 03, he's getting a little bit of a heavier strut than he wanted. Now 22 sideways on the apron again. 03 now sideways off the corner. They're wrecking. They just haven't hit anything as these guys are struggling to keep them pointed the right direction.
I'm going to tell you something, Evan. Darlington is called the track too tough to tame for a reason. This is not an easy track, folks. I'm telling you. We can make it look easy by broadcasting it out, but look, as the 87 car gets into the wall behind Joey Gattina, that's John Langley. It's not an easy racetrack. You're so far close to that wall, or you're so up against that wall, Evan, that if the guy in front of you kind of bobbles a little bit, you kind of bobble with him because you got to follow him.
The guys that are remaining consistent are the guys up at the top of the field. We have seen a lot of guys running maybe P10 through 20 that have caught that wall, got sideways, or nearly lost it off the corner, that have lost a lot of time. Positions 21 and through 16th, all those guys more than 10 seconds back from race leader Eric Brundage actually is the second place machine. Thomas Jordan catches the wall that time at a turn number 4 on the number 1 machine. He sits 1.5 seconds back. He just got around to Dwayne Vincent. Dwayne Vincent again shoving in this evening. The substitute driver for the 10 machine of John Abbott. Dwayne Vincent, no stranger to RSR. If you guys remember last season, the 2013 Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series in the championship hunt. Ended up finishing second to Chad Cole when it was all said and done. But Dwayne Vincent in the 10 Havoline Ford Fusion, no stranger to victory lane in the series. He's got a huge run on second. Thomas J. George got to get out of the way. Dwayne Vincent going to return now to P2.
Yep, Vincent, that looks like Davey Allison old paint scheme of the Havoline Ford, as you mentioned. Cracking the top 2 there. Up 1 spot from where he started. But the man who's out front currently and by a long stretch of imagination.
22 down the back straightaway. John Milwayne, caution. Gonna fly in. That 22 had got sideways 3-4 times. Finally, he clipped the wall while doing so. Pounded the inside wall, lost the engine. Going back up and nearly into the racing surface. Caution going to fly in. It was pretty strange, but after this most recent restart, it was pretty wild trying to keep up with what everybody was doing. And finally, one guy can't hang on, 22 of Milwayne. He was battling handling issues in that car. He kept kind of drifting down to below those white hash marks in the turns and was able to hang on to it, got sideways up the corner, able to hang on to it, but the fact that you just clipped the wall that time made it unable for him to do so. Evidently caught the wall. His night, for all intents and purposes, is done. He's on the hook, and they have brought it behind a wall, so officially he is out of this evening's race. But yellow flag back out as the field starts to catch up behind the pace car down the back straightaway.
Somewhat of a break here, I guess you could call it, for Dwayne Vincent, Thomas J. George, and some of the other drivers, as Eric Brundys had nearly pushed a 2.5 second lead out on him. I'm telling you, Eric has got this Pennzoil Ford set up perfectly tonight. He's down underway to schedule his pit stop now, as Vincent follows in pursuit. So does Thomas J. George. It looks like the rest of the field's going to come down and take this opportunity to get some new good gears on the car.
Yeah, back down pit road last time by. Everybody took 4 tires. Brandon Mercer officially beat the leaders out of pit road. That's because he missed his stall, and that's why he's been sent kind of back to mid-pack in this race. Let's see if anybody takes the 2-tire strategy. Not uncommon to see that here at Darlington. However, it may act a little bit differently with this setup. Setup appearing to be very loose this evening. Brundys in his pit stall, the one at the very end, number 1, because he is your pole sitter. That is the best place to be. 4 tires. Does not look like anybody's coming up to challenge him anytime soon. And a little bit of a challenge for the 10. Vincent not going to be able to get it done. Eric Brundys going to enter P1. He's going to exit P1 also. Eric Brundys 4-tire stop for him in the rest of the field. No changes on pit road inside the top 3.
No changes in the top 3. We had a slip-up, though, for the John Hickman Jr. crew. He got into that pit stop so crooked, and it nearly took about 5 to 6 seconds extra for him to get that car in the box in order for the crew to go to work. So big, tough break for him. But I think the biggest break for everyone will be the caution. I mean, you know, Eric, again, hey, Evan, he's just been dominant here. You know, if you look at practice and you look at qualifying and you look at the race currently, he's triple ones across the board. I'm betting 100 to 1 odds.
You also got to look at the fact these guys, again, they have an hour practice session. You know, some of the guys, they might be in here for around an hour. Some of them maybe a half hour. You know, but they put laps down in practice. Okay, qualified 15 minutes, so you get more than your 2. But you only get a 15-minute stretch, and there's other cars on the racetrack. Right there with everybody else. Okay, Eric Brundys, his qualifying time, a 27.981, nearly 2/10 faster than the second closest guy, Kyle Tarasco, who started P2. That is faster than Brundys' fastest time in practice, which was a lot longer than the qualifying session. So he really stepped it up to get that lap. And you also talked about the lead that he had gained, 2.5 seconds or so, what a caution flag was to come and fly. 94 is looking pretty stout, if you ask me.
I think if you went around the room and asked everybody, I think everybody would give you the same exact answer. He is looking pretty smooth out there, and he looks like he's been there before. You know, he looks like he's like this is just another day at the office, kind of, so to speak. Another Monday night for him. Eric's done well this season, folks. I want to look and to remind you his achievements. Eric Brundys won at Martinsville 2 weeks ago, the 200 lap mayhem. Only 26 laps led so far tonight. Let's see, somewhere in the neighborhood of 31 laps led. But Eric has had 3 top 5s, the most of anyone, as I mentioned pre-race, and 3 top 10s. Average start, 5th spot. Not a bad running.
And we are doubled up. The lights are off atop the Ford First Racing Mustang pace car that sits up at the front of the field right now. Front row, Eric Brundys, Dwayne Vincent. Going to be the top 2. Vincent started in 3rd. Kyle Tarasco, who started on the front row earlier in the going, has dropped back. 94 Brundys, he wastes no time. He's on the loud pedal. Green flag is going to fly now out of the corner, but 94 has checked out. He left pretty much right when the pace car got down to that apron, and Brundys checking out from P1. Vincent, George, Little McBride, everybody inside the top 10. 53 around in front of the pack. Jose Malbrand wrecking in turns 1 and 2. 42 spins down the apron, and looks like a lot of people get around it, but 1 or 2 cars involved as the 52 just loses it, comes up and collects the 42 machine of Scott Stenzel. Stenzel spins across the racetrack, keeps it off the wall, but quickly back under the yellow flag at Darlington Raceway.
And with the leaders adjusted before this caution here, only maybe just a lap, not even a lap, had went by. We're going to take this opportunity to take another commercial break. You're watching Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series, presented to you by MW Productions.
In a world where survival is the only rule, and feelings have no place, where winning is everything, and weakness is fatal, how much difference can one person make? That depends on the person. In every life, there is a line that cannot be crossed without leaving everything behind, except faith. Once that step is taken, there is no looking back, and all that lies ahead is destiny. There is no looking back, and all that lies ahead is destiny.
Back live here, pacing. Eric Grundy's still your leader. Vincent subbing for Abbott tonight, sitting second. Thomas J. George third. Nathan Little has cracked his 41 car, the lead feet Chevy, into fourth. Rhett McBride in the 20 machine, the Omega Ford. Jamie Moore running that Skull Chevy in sixth. Steve Gottschalk, the famous Nerf black and yellow, pink, blue Chevy, seventh. John Higman Jr., who had a hiccup on pit road, is out in eighth in that JGR Joey Gatina Racing Chevy. Ninth, Brennan Mercer, obviously sporting the Gary Mercer Trucking logo on the front hood of that Chevy. And 10th, Joey Gatina himself, yes sir, the ARCA driver, JGR, Joey Gatina Racing in that Chevy, sitting 10th. There's your top 10, Evan, and it's shaping up to be a good one. We've had a few cautions, but I think these guys are going to maybe settle it down and realize we've got somewhere in the neighborhood of about 90-something odd laps left to go.
And they've had a couple times to come down pit road, make a couple of adjustments. Again, the setup looking real loose. A lot of guys drifting down there towards the bottom half of those white hash marks in the turns, again, a real loose coming off the corner, so maybe trying to get those things adjusted. Again, 118 laps on the board this evening, coming green to take 38. Brumby's going to go very quickly this time once again at a 4 green flag, going to fly Vincent top 5, already going to single file out side by side for one position here. It's going to be one machine on the outside lane, 89 Jamie Moore, going to get passed by Rhett McBride for position number 5, and now all the guys inside the top 10 and back, single filing out through the turns 1 and 2.
And he has already taken off to a pretty good lead. Back here, though, fighting for position. Nearly, it's the 20 car of Rhett McBride and the 41 car making the run. The 41 machine on the 1 car of Thomas J. George asked the battle for third, even though they're single file now. Gottschalk, however, nearly loses it in front of Brennan Mercer coming off the exits of 2. Oh, and there goes Katina.
Able to hang on to it. 29 also way down there. That's Brennan Mercer. Both those guys able to hang on to it after getting way sideways coming off of turn number 2. Again, Calamity Corner. Lots and lots of problems for these drivers so far this evening. 21 of Mercer is slow, and one machine going to try to get around him. 25 Kyle Tarasca to the inside after losing a lap after starting on the front row. The 25 is trying to make a comeback right now since P14. Able to get around Brendan Mercer through 1 and 2, so move Kyle Tarasca. Then that 25 machine in for Aaron Groskopf up into position number 13.
Evan, while all that was taking place with Joey Katina and those folks up ahead, Thomas J. George lost it in front of the 41 car. The 41 car doing a great job. Nathan Little backing out of the throttle. And Thomas J. George falls all the way back to 7th from 3rd spot. Loses 4 positions in that little mix-up. He nearly lost it, saved it. Smoke coming out from the right rear tire. And the 41 car got around. Here's Nathan Little now going around Jose Malburn down low. Rest of the field passing by safely as they exit the front stretch into turns 2.
Yeah, one thing that is really going to be a key to getting to victory lane here this evening is being consistent. Sure, you can graze that wall and get your stripe, but that's really not what the problem's been for a lot of these guys. Sure, they're grazing the wall, but it really doesn't slow you down here. So, in comparison to some tracks where you get the wall and you get sucked into it and you can't get off the wall. As soon as you turn it off, you're going to spin. You have a little bit of give. You can kind of scrape that wall. The real problem is these guys off the corner getting sideways. So you got to be real consistent if you want to get the win. Eric Brundys is doing so. Vincent has closed the gap. Dwayne Vincent CDP2 has cut the gap down from 0.6 of a second to 5. This time around, who knows what it's going to be, as the 94 and 10 have kind of broken away from the pack by almost 3 seconds. The top 2 right now, Vincent trying to track him down, but both these guys noticeably a lot smoother on their corner exit than the rest of the drivers.
Scott Stencil, we're hearing the report, just blew the engine. Scott Stencil, 42 machine, blew the engine 43 laps into tonight's race. That's bad.
He caught the inside. He caught the outside wall coming out of 2, nailed the inside wall, and that's where that engine let go. It was smoking. He was coming down on the apron, and a lot of smoke pouring out of the 42. He's in his stop right now, and the team looking under the hood looks like they're going to bring it behind the wall and to take a look at it. But he had some pretty damage, and that was from making contact with the inside wall. Again, another victim of turn number 2.
Sure is. And both corners tonight have been just as bad, equally bad, I think. Turn 2, we've seen a lot of stuff happen off of it, and turn 4. And Evan is finally nearing the halfway point. We're nearing it. Not quite there yet, but it's coming ever so closer. We've got a pretty good solid green flag laps running here. And look at that 94 car starting to lose a little bit of time as Vincent has set the sails and is hunting down that yellow machine of Brundys.
I told you guys, Dwayne Vincent, again, no stranger to victory lane here. Obviously, with RSR going to knock off about 0.02 of a second that time by, as the gap is reduced from 0.444 seconds to 0.429 of a second there, so just under half a second still, as Dwayne Vincent trying to trace down Brundys. He's been consistently faster than him since the drop of the green flag, but these guys have been consistently faster than everybody else. That gap that I was talking about 3 seconds, it was about 2.8, has been extended to 4.1 over the next closest car, third place machine of Nathan Little. Top 2 trying to check out. These guys looking for a green flag run, and typically when you get a green flag run, everybody starts to spread out. The chance of caution minimizes. At this track, no, because most incidents are one car losing it, because you're battling the racetrack more than the other guys here. You're just trying to get some consistent laps. Vincent's doing that. It's only 0.2 of a second. I got a feeling we're going to be side by side for that number 1 spot here. Not too long.
We're going to keep an eye on that. For now, let's take a look back at the 8th position car. Oh, Glenn Campbell nearly earning another stripe on the outside wall there as he exits the corner of 4. Thomas J. George was in front of Campbell. Campbell doing a fine job of getting around George, so George giving up yet another position. Remember, folks, he fell from 3rd to 7th. Now he's failed back to 8th. He's probably struggling with a really loose race car currently as the battle up front starts to shape up a little bit further.
But he's there. Dwayne Vincent, 2-3 car lengths maybe. If you're going to be generous, through 3 and 4. Looks like the 94 with a good time through the middle of the corner there, but Vincent real strong off, gets right up next to the wall, doesn't get it, but right up next to it, and going into turn number 3, starting to close in on your race leader for that position, trying to get there now, and they're nearly bumper to bumper. One machine spinning down the front stretch, able to hang on. Eric Arnold got sideways, he nailed the inside wall, and he has taken his car off the racetrack.
Single file all the way around the 1.36 mile of Darlington, the track that's just too tough to tame. And for so many folks tonight, it's true. It's become a true statement for the rest of other leagues and other racers that come to Darlington. It's just the track that's too tough to tame. Look at turns 1 and 2 versus turns 3 and 4. I mean, they're just humongously different.
Vincent is still tracking Eric Brundy's up there for the number 1 position. Hearing about a little bit of trouble back at the pack, John Higman Jr. reporting some issues coming out of turn number 2. Looks like everybody is good to go, and green flag still remains out as they continue to navigate this track. Dwayne Vincent has closed the gap to 2100ths or 0.21 seconds over that machine in the first spot. That's Eric Brundy's, but they're blowing the doors off of everybody else, man. 5.6 seconds now is the gap to 3rd. We keep going, they're going to lap everybody else.
They've definitely got bars rolling through the center like they want. I just saw Vincent and his Havoline Ford make one great run, and then it's like Brundy's can pull off in another one. So just as much as you think Vincent's on the back rear deck lid of Brundy's, he's not. And that's the way it looks, as Brundy's turning a 29.019 to Dwayne Vincent's 29.09. We're going to take a commercial break, nearly halfway through it in about 2 laps. And, oh, wait, Brundy's in the wall. I just saw Brundy's tap the wall. It may be a Darlington stripe, Evan, but he tapped the wall.
He's able to hang on to it, but he does have some noticeable right side damage. Doesn't look like the car is torn up or it's affecting the handling at all. However, Dwayne Vincent is closing in quickly, and they're going to have to negotiate lap traffic in and out of the way. But Dwayne Vincent able to close in 94 with damage on the right side. However, the car looks like it's running just fine.
Let's just see here for another lap or two as Eric Brundy's sets his car off for turn 4 in the lead. He's led 55 laps now. Oh, yeah, look at the 10 car. He's coming. 2 car lengths. Car length and a half. He's there.
The 94 does not have the stability that he had before. It's affecting his driving just a little bit, but you see he's got to work that car a little bit more from the center off the corner. You see 94 getting a little bit more sideways than he was before, wiggling, trying to find the grip there. Here comes a run from Vincent. Does he go to the inside? Does he stay in line for now? He's going to stay in line for now. Doesn't want to force it to the inside because that is a tricky move here. If you want to make the inside work, you got to essentially put a slide job on him, throw it down, get up in front of him, hang on to it. That's how you got to make it pass. Vincent not wanting to force it at this stage in the race, as we are within 2 laps now of what would be the halfway point, which will be lap 59 out of 118 laps right now. Brundy's still hanging on to P1.
And if Dwayne's smart, which I think he is, you can kind of tell what he's doing. He knows that Brundy's is struggling right now. And all he's got to do is just be patient. Patience is a valued virtue. Patience is a valued virtue. And I'm sure John Abbott may be coaching that into the ear of Vincent as he turns off a turn 2 there with some momentum. But that's the key, Evan. You saw Eric get into the wall. Look at him loose. Look at him loose right there in 4.
Yeah, that back end is stepping out on him from the corner off, which is where you need that run to get down this long straightaway. Again, Vincent got there, didn't force the issue, stayed in line, lost a little bit of time. He's going to be able to make it up. it appears, as he's been knocking off a couple hundred these last few laps, and has now closed that gap in to about 3 car lengths as we enter turn number 3. Take a look at the 10, right in the middle, 94 a little bit higher, but right here, see the back end of 94 a little bit more sideways, a little bit of a wiggle there out of the corner, a lot better at that time through 3 and 4 than he has been these last couple laps, but Vincent closing in once again, knocked off another 100th.
Over halfway victory and over halfway home, as some like to call it, Eric Brundage has led the most laps, and he will in fact lead the most laps tonight. With the halfway point in the books, I'm really tempted to take this commercial break, but I just don't want to take it away from this action that's going on. Eric Brundage slips up the track a little bit. Vincent tries to make some momentum and gains from it there. 2 car lengths separate the 2 off of 2. Brundage, look at it. He's just left to right with that steering wheel. He's struggling. He's battling an ill-handed race car right now.
And it all started after he caught that wall that you talked about, got into the outside wall, got his stripe. There you go, right there again out of 4, makes a little bit of contact. The right front damage right by that right front tire there on the hood is knocked in. So it's obviously not affecting the race car to a point where he would need a pit because he would have been all over the track, but there is just a little bit, maybe aero, just something that is affecting that 94 car because it has not been as stable. However, he opened up a little bit more room for Dwayne Vincent there after Vincent was able to close us in to within 1/10 of a second, and Brundage is able to pull away by about 10 car lengths down and out of 4. However, very slow, maybe caught the wall. Vincent's got to run once again. It's like a game of checkers. They keep getting farther apart now. They're closing back in, playing checkers with each other, or chess, whatever you want to say. Playing over the games. 10 machine, Vincent drops back, closes back in, swapping back and forth, but the 94 has remained out in P1 since the drop of the green flag, and he's still hanging on for now.
While Evan, Dwayne Vincent, and Eric Brundage plays chess and checkers, I'm going to go hit the blackjack table and gamble on this commercial break. We're going to take it to you and hopefully bring you back to the green flag racing where Vincent may close the door, may take the pass over. It'll be interesting to see. We'll be right back. Back, and as promised, the lead hasn't changed, although Vincent took a quick peek as caution's out, and this one's going to involve Joey Katina right in front of the leaders. Can they avoid? Oh, he gets off just in time.
Everybody able to get around it. That was the 14. Again, guys, that's third or fourth time. One car just clips that outside wall coming out of 4. Can't hang on to it, gets into the inside wall. Sideways, right in front of the racing surface. A couple guys dive low, and he's able to pound that escape button, get off the racetrack, able to get out of the way, and nobody else going to get collected in that incident. Eric Brundage He was looking for that caution because he could feel the heat from Vincent. Vincent made another look to the inside down the front straightaway under that commercial brake. Didn't do anything with it, pulled back in line, and had to kind of reset, and he was closing back in when that caution flag flew. So 94 going to be able to hang on to P1 nearly 70 laps into this thing, the only leader that we've seen so far. And I can assume that we're going to come down here for pit stops as leaders way down there on the apron as they now head towards the entrance to pit road here to make some more yellow flag stops.
And 2 observations, Evan, that I'd like to now here on this pit stop. Big pit stop here. All right. Eric Brundys comes down pit road. We know he's got some damage. We're not exactly how extensive it is. If he goes to repair the damage, is it enough to give Dwayne Vincent the lead off pit road? We'll find out. Another thing, when he fixes the damage, when he gets his new tires, will that 94 car be able to drive the same way that he has been all race, or will he still continue to fight that loose race car? 2 observations.
Into pit road, 94 of Brundys has that last pit stall on pit road for being our pole sitter and kind of tiptoes into his stall a little bit. Right side's up a car, 2 right side tires. Looking like the crew going over to the left side, a 4 tire stop as well for Eric Brundys. No damage repair going to be done. Going to leave pit road first as the 10 of Vincent tries to challenge again, but no difference inside of the top 2. And top 3, I do believe, is John Hagman Jr. exits third as well. So about the top 5 that enter pit road going to exit the same way. Kyle Tarasca, who was sitting P6, has a little bit of trouble in his stall. A little bit slow on exit as he may have stopped for a little bit of repairs. There's a couple guys get around him, but top 5 going to remain the same. Most importantly, Eric Brundys. The damage is not substantial enough that he feels or that iRacing offered him the ability to fix any of it as an optional repair. But we'll have to see how his car handles coming up to this next restart and see what Dwayne Vincent can do, because the 94 has been very strong on these restarts, kind of blowing everybody out of the water coming out of 4 when he comes to the green flag.
You know, sometimes I've noticed, Evan, you may have too, that when a driver gets involved in a wreck or maybe brushes the wall or has some sort of dealings with the wall, after they pit and come back out on the racetrack, sometimes it seems like the car doesn't drive the same. I mean, that's happened to me.
Well, what we're going to have to see, and we're doubled up right now, and we've talked about Darlington, and you know it's nicknamed the track too tough to tame, the lady in black getting your stripe, but getting your stripe is when you graze the wall. We've seen guys trying to knock the fence down. And mainly at a turn number 2 is where the wrecks happen. They're getting sideways on both corner exits, 2 and 4. A lot of them able to hang on to it. But if you catch that wall in turn 2, especially coming off on corner exit, you're done. We haven't seen anybody be able to recover from it. You can't do it. You overcorrect, you're going to be in the fence. We've seen it happen at least 3-4 guys this time. Several of them single car incidents, or what started as single car incidents, not anybody making contact with each other, just getting into the fence. Very tricky. Now we're getting down to the closing laps. We haven't really seen a lot of people challenging for aggressive passes in the corners. Now that these laps are starting to wind down, we're inside of 50 laps to go. Do we see these guys get a little bit more aggressive?
I think so. I think this is your opportunity to make your last move. You got the fresh tires, so I think that's when you become, I mean, here at this point in the race, I think this is when you become your most aggressive. I really think Vincent goes after the restart here too. If he can just somehow manage to stay side by side with the 94 and back him down into turn 1, man, that would be a huge gain for the 10 crew of Abbott and them.
We are about to find out and see how they're going to negotiate this, because the lights once again are off atop the Ford First Racing Mustang pace car as we work through turns 3 and 4, getting set for but our 5th or 6th restart here this evening. Eric Brundys, as he has since the drop of the initial green flag, is your leader. Pace car down to pit road. When does he go? There he goes, and you see this track very interesting. He can go in 4 because that's when the pace car leaves the racetrack. He's on it. Green flag flies. Side by side for 3rd. A game of chicken. 60 of John Hagman Jr. going to get in front of Brett McBride, who lets him in line as they try to avoid a 2-wide situation. 2 wide for 7th. That single files out, and nearly everybody once again minded their P's and Q's so far. Single file and clean out of 2.
Yeah, and the theory of Vincent being able to stay up beside Bundy's fell through as well. little bit of a battle here. Evan back here in ninth spot. In 10th, the 03 car, Nathan Bowers, in the wall. That's what's allowing the racing here, 2x2 for just a split second. Nathan Bowers up into the outside wall here. Oh, up again into the outside wall as he's just riding it now, letting everybody go. Something's definitely wrong.
Yeah, he came over with the radio and he's announced that he has to come down pit road. Watch this, that could be real tight off the corner because these guys need to swing it right up to the wall. And he was there, and a couple guys had to kind of dive low, and now Nathan Bowers, post 03 man, tough break, 70 laps at Darlington, had a car that was in very racy condition, and one mistake is going to cost you to come down pit road and lose your side-by-side P1. Wow, Dwayne Vincent, what an aggressive move to the outside out of turn 2, and he nearly took them both out, but he got the spot. Dwayne Vincent, the P1, what a pass out of 2.
Wow, you're not kidding. What a move of the race, and that could be the move that wins it. We'll find out, not before too long. Now Brundy's has John Higman Jr. all over the rear back deck lid of his car. JGR, Joey Contender Racing Chevy, John Higman Jr., third spot. He's up underneath him. Up under the deck lid, that is.
He's closing in. Dwayne Vincent sees this as maybe an opportunity to check out. These are the first laps in this race that Eric Brundy's has not been out to P1 as he sits in second. And I gotta think his car just does not look the same. You see a wiggle there in 1 and 2 for the 94. His car has just not been the same. He's sideways off the corner since he caught that wall just a couple laps before the caution, man.
Yep. And how about Vincent getting it done on the outside there, coming off of, as Brundy's in the wall off 4. John Higman Jr., let's see if he's going to try to make the pass. He's going to have to really throw it. Nope, not going to be able to do it.
He needs such a run to make that pass work, and he just didn't have it.
No, you could see it just died on him like he hit a brick wall.
But we saw before the break, and I talked about people getting more aggressive as the race goes on. We've seen Vincent have the opportunity to go to the inside, maybe get a little further up than Higman was right there on Brundy's, trying to make it work in 1. Didn't do that, slide job is a risky move, but that's almost what you got to do here in 1 and 2. If you guys tuned in Thursday night here with ITSR on MW Productions, you saw that the slide job was the way to go. Vincent had those opportunities, and he was playing it safe, and then he pulls that out of his hat coming out of turn 2, throws it on the outside, is sideways, and nearly got a foot on one side towards the wall, and a foot on the other side of the 94, makes it work. He decided that was his moment, picked it up. Can the 60 of John Higman Jr. do something? As we talked about, that he has moved his way up into the top 3 after starting 15th. He still trails and is kind of riding behind those machines, sitting in number 2, John Higman Jr. 60 machine that we're talking about. He sits 3rd, but a couple car lengths off the back bumper of Brundy's. Brundy's, though, is slow on corner exit, is not getting the runs that he wants to. Only problem is, if anything, he's holding up John Higman Jr. in the 60, because the 60 can't get enough of a room that he's got to wait for him, and Vincent is slowly inching away from these guys second on back.
Yeah, Higman may have to man up here and use that JGR front bumper, perhaps. Come into the corner, maybe, or come into the turn. Oh, gosh, going to get close. Here he goes. He's underneath.
May
not have to use the bumper.
Run.
Look at Rhett sticking that OT Omega Chevy in it.
Oh! Side by side, 94 on the outside lane. John Higman Jr. on the inside. Couldn't get it done in 3 and 4. Can't get it done in 1 and 2. He still has the position, and no, the 94 is going to prevail him on the outside. Just so strong. 60 put up a battle. And now wiggle, and Eric Brundy's going to give it away at a 2 as he gets a wiggle. Goes down, opens up the outside lane. Higman Jr. around the 20 machine nearly got there as well. That's Rhett McBride. And 94 going to drop back now to position number 3. John Higman Jr. is going to try to set sail, but Dwayne Vincent has done the damage. He's checked out to a 1.7 second lead, while these guys in second place battle.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Brundy's just doesn't have the same car he had before the incident with the wall and after that pit stop at least. And Rhett McBride is closing in the gap. Thomas J. George is there. Nathan Little is there. A little nice top. 4 guys here. Also, Brendan Mercer sticking his blue Chevy in the mix. I just saw it. behind the 41 car. Coming off of turn 4, you can't separate any of them by at least 2 car lengths. Grundy leads that pack.
And a bunch of other guys in this as well. Thomas J. Jordan, the one machine. He was up towards the wall. He's got the 20 in front of him. Does he make a move? He does. One machine to the inside on the 20 machine of Rhett McBride, side by side. The one throws it down. Needs to come up to hang on. 20's in the wall. Rhett McBride gets another stripe. And coming out of 4, the one machine of Thomas George going to advance now. He's going to go up to position number 4 now. Another guy in the picture, Nathan Little in the 41 machine. Had a look and didn't do anything with Rhett McBride, but had a look at it. Nathan Little, after starting in unlucky number 13th, or actually started 14th position rather, currently sits 6th on the racetrack, trying to make something work. But if we don't see a caution, I don't know what these guys can do. However, John Higman Jr., and he's a rocket ship. He's knocked about 0.4 of a second off of Dwayne Vincent's lead. It's only 1.4 seconds now between P1 and 2.
Wow, what a battle. You know, as the 41 car of Nathan Little looks for the top 5 spot, Brennan Mercer was closing in and then may have let out the throttle just a little bit too much and allowed the gap to a little widen back out as Brennan starts to set the real sights on the 41 of Nathan Little, coming off of 4. Brennan was somewhat of a momentum lap that last time by, just a tad bit slower, as Thomas J. George now starts to work on that Ford of Eric Grundy's as he's just loosey-goosey off 2.
Brett McBride also sideways coming off of turn number 2, the spot that has claimed a lot of drivers this evening and has certainly put up a challenge. Top 2 and balanced out that 1.4 second lead between Dwayne Vincent and John Higman Jr. positions 1 and 2 respectively has balanced out, and actually this time by Higman Jr. going to knock off 2/10 with a 28.986 for his lap time. So Dwayne Vincent trying to hang on to this win, and he's approaching actually, and it's going to be this time by the start finish line. It is going to be 30 laps to go for Dwayne Vincent up at number 1 position. Again, he's a sub driver, and he's 30 laps away right now from a checkered flag.
3rd spot has just received a new owner. Thomas J. George moved that 1 car up. Grundy's back to 4th. Now, Rhett McBride holds on to the 5th spot, Evan, and Brennan Mercer, meanwhile, has just fallen further and further back from Nathan Little, who holds on to that 6th position.
In a blink of an eye, 13 drivers remain on the lead lap. Les Carr on the lead lap right now is Scott Simley in the 68 machine, 28 seconds back from race leader, or, want to put it into perspective, 3 car lengths in front of him, because here comes Dwayne Vincent now, and down the back straightaway trying to get around the lap machine. 68 yields high, actually gets in the wall. Dwayne Vincent able to get around that lap machine, so going to leave us with 12 drivers on the lead lap as our longest green flag run of the night is starting to get into the works as we start to approach the distance of that one that we just had before this most recent yellow flag. Sure, Vincent wants to see this thing go green to the end because he knows that John Higman Jr. has been fast. All that Higman has done is make up time on him, not in one big gap, but he's made up about 0.6 of a second throughout the time since he has gotten up to the number 2 position. So I'm sure Dwayne Vincent would rather not have him start next to him on a restart. Vincent hoping that this race goes green.
Yeah, absolutely. He would definitely love for this race to go green. We've had a nice little green flag run, and mentioning that, we're closing in on the final 20-so-odd laps here at Darlington Raceway. You're watching Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series. I'm going to go grab me a quick hot dog while Evan go gets one of those tasty black striped cupcakes. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Todd Malmstrom, driver of the 75M Ford Mustang GT. This is what I do by night. And this is what I do by day. I sell new Fords, and I've got the best selection of used inventory that you could ask for. Come see me down here at Central Ford.
Are you tired of getting hassled at the dealerships? Looking for a salesman that knows what he's talking about? Are you looking to buy a new or used car? Then look no further! Sexton Ford Moline, Illinois has the biggest selection of new or pre-owned vehicles, and Todd Malmstrom is the salesman you want. Todd is an expert when it comes to cars, and if you don't believe me, then you should see him race on a Sunday night. With his top-notch professional customer service and expertise, he will make sure you go home in the right car for the right price. No hassle, no haggling. Todd will make sure that you're happy when you leave the lot with your new or pre-owned vehicle. Remember, Sexton Ford may be the talk of the town, but so is Todd Malmstrom. If you're in the market for a new ride, then buy one from a winner. Todd Malmstrom at Sexton Ford Moline.
And back still here at the Darlington Raceway, green flag remains out as Dwayne Vincent up at the front of the field as we close in on the 100 lap mark in this race, and just a handful of laps away from 20 laps to go as he has extended his lead that was 1.4 seconds over the machine in second place. John Heyman Jr. has been extended to 2.1 seconds right now as 11 drivers remain on the lead lap. Vincent trying to hold out and pull this thing out of the hat after Eric Brundys in the 94, who started from P1, led more than half the race, and the only lead change has been the one that put Vincent up to where he is right now in the 10 machine, and that is position number 1. Remember, Dwayne Vincent, no stranger to RSR, but he is a sub-driver this evening for John Abbott, and he's currently running P1, not too bad. If you ask me, for a substitute driver, as he comes this time by, is going to be officially 20 laps remaining on the board. And this is one of our longest green flag runs that we have seen all night long. Do we see a late race caution that throws a final twist into this? We're going to have to find out. I'm sure that 10 machine is going to try to get to that white flag as fast as possible.
Top 11, considering 11 are on the lead lap, Darlington, Dwayne Vincent, Higman Jr., Thomas J. George, Eric Brundys, Nathan Little, Brett McBride, 6th, Brennan Mercer, Glenn Campbell, Kyle Tarasca, who's been struggling quite some tonight. He's managed to get that car back up into the top 10 as night. And Steve Gottschalk, 10th. And Jamie Moore, a newcomer to the Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series on Monday nights, is in the 89 machine, running 11th on the lead lap.
So before we went to break again, that gap now has been extended by 0.7 of a second. I think Dwayne Vincent is going to win this race if we stay green, unless he throws it away. It's his race to lose right now, excluding the fact of a caution. He has to keep it clean, he's got to keep it off the walls, and he's got to stay in that turn 2 wall, which has cleaned a handful of drivers so far this evening. He's within 20 to go. We are now past the 100 lap mark. This time by, he's going to come around and take lap 102. But again, this is one of the longest green flag runs that we've seen all night. You don't necessarily have to have cars close together to the caution. Do we stay green?
Yeah, that's true. And, you know, by no means of the imagination has Dwayne Vincent got this in the bag. I mean, you know, we've seen Eric Brundys leading the race, and him get into the wall kind of mess that car up a little bit. So it could go real ugly real quick here at Darlington. But so far, so good for Vincent as he continues to lead here. The Black Dahlia is what Vincent was nicknamed and known for. The Snake, waiting to strike. And he may strike a big one here at Darlington, and what a happy camper old Abbott would be.
I'm sure he wouldn't mind that 10 machine getting the victory lane here this evening. Dwayne Vincent is opening up that gap that he has right now. Up at the front of the field right now, set it at about 2.3 seconds, as again 11 drivers remain on the lead lap. 6 of them within 10 seconds of race leader, and a handful of guys In a relative risk of losing your lap, pretty much that would only apply to the 89. Jamie Moore, who is sitting 11th, doing a solid job after starting 16th position, able to hang on right now in that Skull machine right now. P11, 21 seconds back from Vincent, or about 10 seconds in front of him on the racetrack between that point and losing lap. And again, a lot of drivers, big names out of this race. Bobby Terrell, Adam Roberts, Jonathan Cadell, points leader. Guys like Eric Arnold, Jason Lester, Nathan Bowers, Joey Jatina, Guy Center, just to name a few that have been claimed victim by the track team Too Tough to Tame.
The co-pilot, Dwayne Vincent, leads 105 laps, or at the 105 lap mark, rather, which puts 13 to go, just outside of 10 to go. Mounting up a big lead. He's got a pretty big lead. You know, it's almost safe to say that Vincent's got it. But like you said, Evan, a caution could come out any moment, and boy, would that change things.
Better be knocking on wood there. Wayne Vincent, again, there you go. Not trying to give the broadcast jinx.
We've done that before.
Oh yeah, several times. And it's nearly 10 laps remaining in this race this time at a turn number 4, and down past this front grandstand, Dwayne Vincent takes 11 laps to go in this 118 lap affair as he currently runs lap 108. Next time around, it's going to be 100 to go. Again, some little statistics on Dwayne Vincent over the night. Started third, qualified third, sitting P1.
Oh! Battle for 7th spot where Kyle Taraska nearly put Brennan Mercer into the wall. Brennan Mercer now being chased by the Ford of Glenn Campbell, the 44 car. Brennan puts the block on him. Holy cow. Coming into turn 3, Brennan Mercer putting the Gary Mercer trucking block on Glenn Campbell.
Now he's going to go low.
Go.
He's going to let the 44 go. Glenn Campbell going to get around him now as the 29 gets out of the way and apologizes for the blocks as he was trying to get up to Kyle Tarasco. You talked about got around these guys. Kyle Tarasco in the 25 machine lost a lap, started good, qualified second, lost a lap, came back and has been working his way up to where he sits now in 7th as the 25 scrapes the wall a little bit that time through 3 and 4. So those guys negotiate rather fairly and without any major incident who's going to pick up those spots here. And again, they're going to race a little bit harder for it. And you saw it there with the 25 of Tarasco trying to get around with Mercer and all those guys in the corner that within 10 laps to go, they want to pick up a couple more spots, get a couple more points, and who knows what that will equivalent to when the season's all said and done.
Look at Kyle Tarasco now, the 7th spot battle, a little bit closer. I thought it was a little bit closer now. I have TV1 view there for a second. But Glenn Campbell is coming. He just turned a 29.225 to Kyle Tarasco's 29.376. So obviously, Glenn Campbell letting it roll through the center, maybe a little bit better here. Darlington exiting turn 2, real close to the wall, but no harm, no foul. Rocketing down the backstretch, trying to close the gap on 7th. Although that battle's still trying to shape up as Vincent leads.
Vincent's just trying to make it to about the 4 lap to go mark, and at that point, if there's a caution, as long as it's not him, with no green-white checkers in the iRacing service, he will walk away with this win in his number 10 Havoline Ford that is continued to check out on this field now to about a 3-second lead, and this time by the stripe, we're going to get the scoring update on those times. It's going to go down from 2.9 to 2.8 seconds over John Higman Jr. in the number 2 spot, but as you run lap 113 of 118, this race pretty much in the bag in favor of Dwayne Vincent. Is to lose at this point. He just got to keep it pointed forward for a couple more laps, and he'll be able to burn it down on the front straightaway at the Lady in Black.
The Lady in Black, the Black Dahlia, could be crowned to Vincent tonight. Or things could change in a matter of minutes or seconds. Vincent, no traffic to deal with. That's a good sign. Although about one full turn away is two guys battling it out, Jason Lester and Jamie Moore. Obviously, Jamie Moore trying to hang on to the lead lap here as he goes around Lester, no problem. Vincent starting to close in on Lester here a little bit. This could be an issue. 4 laps to go, 3 laps to go actually this time by.
Yeah, this time as Dwayne Vincent works his way down the back straightaway on lap number 115. This time by the start-finish line. It is going to be 3 laps to go as he closes in on a little bit of lap traffic. The 92 car gets down and out of the way, and that is Jason Lester, who currently runs about 38 laps down in position number 20. So Vincent, within 3 to go the next time by, going to be 2 laps to go. A caution at this point would, for all intents and purposes, end the battle for positions anywhere on the racetrack. So looks like Dwayne Vincent is going to be able to pull this thing out. We have seen stranger things happen in closing laps of the race, but that 10 machine is looking very consistent. You can see maybe he's taking it a little bit easier to make sure he gets to the finish as John Heyman Jr. has closed in that gap that was 2.8 seconds, knocks 2 more tenths off there to 2.2 seconds, but he's inside 2 to go. It's not going to matter. Dwayne Vincent just trying to get this thing to the finish and keep it looking clean.
Peace sign in the air for Vincent, this time by the famous white flag, representing one more chance, right? To wipe it all away. Here we go. To wipe last week's winner away, to give a new clean slate, a new clean winner. Can Vincent hang on to it? Out of 2 here. He's got 2 cars ahead of him, kind of battling it out. Letting out the throttle. There you go. He's got plenty of time to get around the 8 car of Michael Gray. Michael Gray goes way down low. Jamie, no problem up ahead. Vincent will win at Darlington. The Black Dahlia wins for John Abbott.
John Heyman Jr. are going to come home P3. Thomas J. George third. Nathan Little going to roll across the stripe in position number 4. Eric Brundy's going to round out the top 5. Rhett McBride in 6th. Glenn Campbell just crossing now in 7th. Kyle Taraska coming across in 8th. Brendan Mercer working off the corner in a side-by-side battle. Not going to get it. 91. Steve Gottschalk picks it up at the last second. Gottschalk gets P9, and it will be Brendan Mercer that rounds out the top 10. Could not hang on out of the final corner. But as the top 10 just finishes crossing the stripe, Dwayne Vincent already back at a turn number 4. He's going to burn him down on the front straightaway. Victorious at Darlington is Vincent.
And with that said, we're going to take you to the maybe the quickest commercial break of your life, and then return back to the top 3, hopefully in post-race interviews. You're watching Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series. Burn them down! And we're back where we just wrapped up the first segment in the Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series, and it goes down in style with Dwayne Vincent filling in for Mr. Abbott. Co-pilot Vincent wins at Darlington. But first, Thomas J. George will finish 3rd in the number 1 machine. Thomas, tell us about Darlington. Did you earn your black stripe tonight? Be honest.
Oh, I earned it. Definitely earned it. Early on in the race, I ended up getting a little bit of damage to the rear, and it just made the car almost undrivable. Then we got that caution about halfway through and fixed it. She started running good, but I just burned the tires off towards the end on that one.
Thomas, let's talk points real quick. Just mention that the segment 1 has come to an end. With your top 3 finish here tonight at Darlington, you'll finish that first segment in the top 5, surpassing Joe and Katina and some of the others, especially Jonathan Cadell. Man, boy, Jonathan Cadell finishing 30th tonight, but that's a whole other subject for a different day. But tell us about that. Are you excited to finish this the first 7 races out?
Oh yeah, I am excited, especially after the last 3 weeks where misfortune just has been knocking at my door, and just I've been caught up in somebody else's wreck, or I just lost it or something like that. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the next segment because a lot of good tracks are coming up where I just love to run at. But hopefully we'll keep it going, and hopefully I can contend for this championship.
Absolutely, and yeah, I was about to say, I love the sound effects, Thomas, you got there with the wind blowing in the background.
Yeah, sorry about that. I got the fan on with the spare sweatpants and 2 t-shirts.
No, it adds to the realism. You know, we got the mile-an-hour wind blowing from the east, so it's spot on, Thomas.
I appreciate it.
Great run tonight. Anybody you'd like to thank, throw out any sponsors too?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Corey Stalker for designing this Bash Pro Shops car, and obviously, since I haven't got a chance to thank the other painter, James Collins, for my Snap-on ride. I'd like to thank RSR for putting this on the air for us every single year. And I'd like to take a shout out to Dwayne, who I've raced for a year and a half now. Always races clean, and he's taught me a lot about racing in this.
Absolutely. Thank you, Thomas J. George. Again, Thomas J. George wrapping up the first 6 races of the Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series. Standing beside John Higman Jr., Evan Pasoko.
That's right, we're down here on pit road with the driver of the 60 machine, John Higman Jr., climbing out of the car, walking away with a second place finish. But first and foremost, John, practice session didn't really get down the lap that you were looking for outside the top 20 fastest-wise, qualified 15th. What was your strategy going into this race, knowing that you'd kind of be starting mid-pack in this race?
Pretty much just to survive. Try to make as few mistakes as possible because it's so easy to mess up here. Mistakes really cost you because you're going to be in the wall instantly. So it was pretty fun.
You talk about the wall, obviously earning your stripe, but we seemed like the calamity corner was corner right, but more specifically turn 2, where guys were getting sideways, they were clipping the wall, and once you clipped that outside wall, you were pretty much done. Did you have any close calls coming off that corner where you had to catch it? Because we saw everybody kicking that rear end out.
Yeah, I was pretty loose there coming off of 2. It was a real fine line going through there. If you missed it just a little, it would get real loose on you. So it was definitely easy to do through there. And 3 was probably another corner that was pretty tricky as well.
And then let's talk about it coming down to the finish there, where you were trying to close in on our race leader, Dwayne Vincent. Made up a little bit of time, got it down to about 1.3 seconds after you got away from the battle for position number 2. No caution flew. You were unable to make up that total distance. Able to come home second, though. Do you think maybe if we had a yellow flag and grouped them back up, you might have been strong enough to get around that 10 for P1?
Yeah, I definitely think I had something for those guys at the beginning of the run. That first restart there, I was just as fast and lifted out faster. The 94 held me up a little bit there, but I think I really could have got to him if I wouldn't have been so far back to begin with.
And definitely in talking about moving forward, looking forward in the schedule to next week's race, Texas, and 120 laps with the Texas 180 to finish off the first segment here. How confident are you at those 1.5 mile tracks, but in more specific Texas, which has been known to be a very racy circuit?
I love Texas. It's one of my favorite tracks. 100s of races there in 2K3, so it's definitely a good track for me.
Definitely. Well, as you sit here with a solid top 2 finish, good points night overall. Any sponsors and shout-outs that you want to thank? The mic's all yours.
Yeah, I'd like to thank coroner Joey Gattini for getting me in this thing, and Real Sim Racing for putting on the series, Eating Construction, Hippie's Paint Shop for painting the car, and I'd like to thank you guys at MW Productions for putting this thing on. You do a good job. It's a good show.
And everyone, thank you, and you guys putting on a show makes our job a lot easier. That is your second place finisher, John Higman Jr. in the 60 machine, able to come home in position number 2, 1 point short of the man that's standing by with Michael Keaton in victory lane.
Absolutely, and Dwayne, from the looks of it, wasn't easy. The first part of the race, the dominant car, Eric Brundy's, then he gets into the wall right in front of you. You play patient, you play Black Dahlia patientness. You're the co-pilot of John Abbott's car tonight, coming into tonight's race. Did you think you'd earned your black stripe at Darlington?
Man, yeah, I got lucky, man. I've been running there all week long, and I hit the wall every race I was in. But, yeah, Brundy's was fast, man. He just tore up his right front, and that hurt him. But he was extremely fast. And John Higman was fast, too, towards the end. He was running me down there for a second, and I don't know if lap traffic got him or what, but I want to say thank you to all the lap cars, man. The guys gave us a lot of room. That made it real nice. Hello.
Oh, Dwayne Vincent, absolutely, man. Appreciate that. And let's talk one quick thing that happened. Obviously, the pass, the move of the race. I'm telling you, you put one heck of a pass, a move on Brundy's to take over that number 1 spot to get basically the win here tonight for Abbott's team.
Yeah, well, actually, it wasn't much of a move. I just got lucky and didn't run over him. He kind of broke loose coming out of the turn, and I was just able to get around him that way. And he gave me.
Well, you wheeled it and you dealed it.
Oh yeah. But
don't take away.
Oh no. Yeah. But you have to be so patient here, man. That's just it. I mean, you hear all this stuff about race to track and not your competitors, and that's the truth.
Absolutely, that's exactly what we were kind of notating during that little run there. When you saw Brundy's getting to the wall, you can just kind of see that you were being patient, and that's what I said. Patience is a valued virtue. Dwayne has been around. He knows to be patient, and we see patience has paid off. Congratulations. I know Abbott's probably thrilled to death. Next week's Texas, hopefully we'll see the pilot back in action behind that 10 car. And last but not least, obviously, Dwayne, you'd like to thank anybody for tonight?
Yeah, well, I want to thank John Abbott for having trust in me to run the number 10 tonight. And I want to give a shout out to 2 of my teammates, Chris Schallenberger and Ronnie Potts. Those guys helped me out spotting. Without them, it'd have been harder. But and all the guys at RSR, a lot of new faces around here, and everything you guys do, I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yep. Without the spotters, he might have earned his black stripe on the left side of the car like so many other drivers did tonight, especially for the 11 machine of Jonathan Cattell. Wow. 30th spot, leader in points, coming into Darlington. He's got some catching up to do. Hopefully he brings his cowboy hat. For me, Evan Pasoko and Michael Woolley, we got our cowboy hats on. See you in Texas next week.
Trucking has always been a part of me. It started years ago when my dad and granddad were hauling vegetables to market in Liverpool. The family immigrated to Canada in the late 60s and settled near Alliston, Ontario. I bought my first truck in 1982 and Mercer Trucking was born. Today, Mercer Trucking has over 50 trucks in terminals in Toronto and Los Angeles. Our storage facilities at both terminals can handle any size of distribution needs throughout North America. We service the continental U.S., including Hawaii and Alaska. We run over 120,000 miles per month and some of the best equipment on the road today. We specialize in less than truckload shipments, show freight, we do rush team service deliveries, and haul your refrigerated or heated product. Our regular team service from Canada to California is second to none, and our staff and drivers are among the best in the business. I'm proud of our people and what they can achieve. Trucking is in my blood, it's my livelihood, and it's what I do best.
DGVertec.net's primary goal is to provide you with a successful website presence. They have purpose-built their web servers successfully throughout the years. The stress testing has been done so that they can provide you with an enhanced web hosting technology that they design for using future standards today for tomorrow. They offer 24/7 support for all web hosting plans. Their team answers support tickets 24/7. So if you have a problem at any time, an agent will be more than happy to help you. If you're not satisfied with your service within 7 days, then you can get a full money back guarantee with a 99 uptime guaranteed as well, with plans for shared hosting starting at just $2.95. It's clear to see why DGVertec should be your choice for web hosting. Just go to www.dgvertec.net today, your web hosting solution.